Good morning, guys. I have my big old battered soup pot sitting out because I am making soup today. I went through my fridge and my freezer and I pulled out all kinds of different things. And unfortunately, I found out that I had waited too long and these mushrooms went bad. So I can't use them. Too bad. But I have zucchini, celery, peas, carrot, green beans, cabbage, cauliflower, onion. I have beef broth. I'm not sure, since I found the frozen green beans, I may not use the canned ones. But I have a jar of home canned beef, some home canned tomatoes. Here are a couple of garlic cloves, big old things, an onion, a tomato that needs to be used up, a potato. Here is something, it's some kind of a meat thing, but it'll go okay with a tomato-based soup. There's something here, I'm not sure what it is. Here are lima beans, and here are peas also. Again, there's some left over. It looks like corn, and then that looks like corn too. But the first thing I'm going to do is I soak these Great Northern beans overnight, and I'm going to rinse them and put them in the pot and bring them to the boil and cook them for a while first. And in the meantime, I'll just chop and trim and get all of these different ingredients ready to put into the pot. So here goes. Okay, the beans are nice and tender, and now it's time to just start adding everything else in. I found out this is like a chili combination. Here's the zucchini, green beans, lima beans, peas. I cut up the tomatoes. There's onion right there, cabbage, and back here I have carrot, celery, and garlic. Oops, sorry about the shadow. There's the garlic right there. And here's the jar of tomatoes, the beef, pepper, salt, rosemary, onion, parsley, garlic, Italian seasoning. Let me see, here's a can of beef broth. Here's the little jar of home canned beef. And the only things I'm not putting in right now are cauliflower and potato and a little bit of elbow macaroni. They cook pretty fast, and I don't want them to get all mushy and everything. So here goes. I'm going to bring the soup to a boil and let it simmer for a while. Then I'll add the pasta and the potato and the cauliflower for the last 25 to 30 minutes. Okay, all the other vegetables are tender, and I just added the cauliflower, and then I tasted the broth, and it needed a little bit more salt, and I also added just a little bit more black pepper, and I'm going to add a little bit more Italian seasoning. Okay, and I'm going to turn the heat down to low and put the lid back on. Well, friends, the soup is done, and I think it turned out really well, but I feel like having some hot bread on the side. So I've decided to make up a couple of biscuits using my favorite recipe from the Betty Crocker anniversary cookbook, and I do have a separate video where I make the biscuits, and I'll link it down below in the description box, okay? So I've got 1 cup of flour, 1½ teaspoons of baking powder, and a ½ teaspoon of salt, about 2 teaspoons of sugar, I've got a third of a cup of milk. I'll be using a couple of tablespoons of shortening. And the first thing I'm going to do is just sift this together. All right, friends, dinner is ready, and here we have a bowl of this wonderful vegetable soup. There's a little bit of meat in there, but not very much. It's primarily all the different vegetables and a little bit of macaroni and a small potato. And then over here is a hot biscuit just out of the oven. And that's what's for dinner tonight. Now, I know this soup made an enormous pot full, but you know what? This will freeze beautifully. So anyway, thank you so much, guys, for stopping by today. It's been nice being with you, and I hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.